All right. It's Jared here from Crypto Plan, and how is everyone going? It has been a long time. Now, if anyone has been paying attention to Twitter or anything where I've been very, very mildly interacting with, and some people have been interacting back with me, I've explained why I've been quiet. One major one was that nothing has really happened for a long time, except for down. And although I didn't expect the retracement to be this deep, I've just been very quietly, patiently watching and learning, because one thing I've learnt over the last 2 years since investing in cryptocurrencies, investing in speculative markets, is that the best thing to do, I guess, this first time around is to watch, learn, and to not get caught up in trading too much and making mistakes. Because I definitely have made my fair share of mistakes, and I wonder if you all have made those fair share of mistakes. Not taking profits is one of the biggest mistakes. But at the end of the day, I feel like I've taken some profits, and I've taken a little bit out of the market. And at the end of the day, I was always in it for all or nothing. And we're at that point now where it's either going to go back up to all or fall down to nothing. So we're at a very critical juncture in the market, especially the crypto market. But the more I learn, the more the crypto is not a separate market. It's tied to the US stock market. It's tied to every market in the world. I don't think there's anything out there really that is doing well on the long side besides natural gas. Natural gas is the only thing that I've actually made any money on recently. So look at some of my active trades, and look at this natural gas move and entering down here in the $2 range and kind of getting out here up in the 9 to 10 range while things are kind of going a bit sideways. That's the only thing that's happened to me recently, besides Premier African Minerals also having a good little run in January. They're the only two things that have actually held my portfolio or my account from being really disastrous, if you like. Definitely the precious metals complex has done nothing for us. Crypto has done nothing for us. The stock market's done nothing for us. So just a couple of winners there to keep me going. But we'll go back to that total 3, because I just wanted to kind of just go through a couple of charts just to point out some things that I'm seeing now. I don't watch a lot of other chart analysts besides my bad charts friends, North Star Bad Charts and the Blockchain Backer. But I've been paying some attention and just noticing a lot of things that are happening that are, there's been a lot of extension away from, averages or means, and there's a lot of pullbacks to averages or means, or retests of breakouts. So you can see this total altcoin market, besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, has broken out, back tested once, and then back tested again. So if you take away all the fundamentals and all the fear and all the, anything to do with anything, this is quite normal that, a cup has formed. Usually a cup kind of hits its all-time resistance, back test, then goes on upwards. But crypto seemed to go wild and broke out on this massive run, had a tiny little back test or a handle, but then kind of went on to make this second higher high briefly before, Bitcoin kind of ended the party. But, this is why it's a critical juncture. Is this just another back test before we go up again, or is it a test of a breakdown? That's the thing. That's why it's so scary at the moment. Is it, oh my God, everything's lost so much and I'm going to lose more, or oh my God, load the boat because these prices are better than they were 2 years ago. You know what I mean? So that's the way I'm seeing it. I'm seeing some things in my portfolio that have gone below prices that I bought them at 2 years ago, which is crazy. I always, they're all sitting there about 2 times what I bought them a couple of years ago for a long time, and then bang, big sell-off. But that is crypto and that is markets, right? So we have to be prepared for the up and the down. That's another thing I've learned, is I was very up biased, a year ago, 2 years ago. Now I'm like, You got to look both ways. You got to be prepared for both ways mentally, and you got to be able to handle the roller coaster that is. And the more you look at charts, that's what happens. Ups and downs, the cycling. It's like breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and that's what happens in markets. So let's have a look at Mana. What did Mana do? Besides this wick here, essentially, it broke out in a big way. When the metaverse was huge, but it just kind of came down and back tested and backfilled that large breakout. So Mana has every potential just to fly off. And what I'm seeing now is Mana is ready to kind of pump. A lot of volume came in there, showing signs of a reversal. Is it? We don't know. Time will only tell. Same deal, loop ring. This yellow line is a 200-week moving average. So what has it done? It's kind of tested a really long-term average. But once again, what has loop ring done? It's kind of cupped, broke out slightly of its all-time high, and then pulled back for a handle. So, structurally, these are normal things. Even though it's painful watching your things go, and why didn't I sell there and buy back in here, and you've watched it go the way down, like some of us have done. It's not that painful when, you look at it from a structurally zoomed out view. The graph is one I've been kind of dabbling with, but that's definitely broken down. It doesn't have enough chart history, but I'm sure, pre-IPO, maybe some charts have got a further back view of this. It's just testing some original resistance levels or support levels, sorry. Maybe, there was some, coin issues, cheaper down there, so people were willing and could sell deeper into that. Who knows? Either way, you look at that chart and you go, well, distance to all-time high. There's a long retracement there. There's a 2,000% retracement now to its all-time high, which is great. Which is absolutely great. For a highly speculative play, that's a good distance to its previous all-time high, which was only a couple of years ago. So if you're in that long-term view, there's so many discounts out there, which is crazy. Let's have a look at XRP. So, this is a busy chart, but like what I see is that there was this arc, and yes, the arc broke, it failed, and it has failed, and it still failed. But what is holding? A long-term trend line. So from all the way back here in 2015, there's some confluence there in the back test or the kind of volatility during an alt season back in 2017. Then there's the bottom of the market in COVID times, or March 2020. So it tested it there with the SEC case event, and then it's tested again now. So if you look at all these events, what were they at the time? Scary. Oh my God, everything's gone to zero. But the reality was large retracements came in. They didn't all happen instantly, but, so you've got one, from the COVID very bottom, 500%. From the SEC bottom, 1,000%. And from this bottom, what are we going to get? Who knows? Even to get back to that previous high, it's still a 500% gain. But if we're talking about the $10 to $13 extensions, then what a great entry point. Could you get a better entry point after all this 2 years of up and down and up and down? We're just being offered super duper shopping bargains. Hathor Networks. I was following this channel. There wasn't enough touch points for it to actually be a channel, so it has failed. So, maybe it's more of just a horizontal channel. Either way, maybe it's not even a channel at all. Maybe it's just the fact that this is a base. This is a base that's forming, and there's much higher times to come. Or, like I say, be prepared for the downside. Hathor Networks, it's one of the only ones that I'm willing to hold for a long, long time. I believe in Hathor as a project. It's one of the ones that I truly believe in the fundamentals. One Harmony. What's going on here? Backtest. Backtest of these original highs back in 2019. Backtest of the breakout and the pullback. It's that, the sine wave, right? You know, if we call this the middle line, so it's a wave, it's a cycle, up, high, down, you know, is the next one up? You know, the next one could be down. But either way, there's nothing structurally there that tells me, oh my goodness, like that's weird, or there's something crazy going on. Things seem to be following the way things are all going. You know, nothing's kind of standing out there and going, you know, scary, scary. Even though it is scary, obviously, I'm not denying the scariness of the last months of down, down, down. And I know that if you're like me, your portfolio is bled, but it's only a loss when you have to realize the loss, and it's only a loss when you're investing more than you can afford to invest in the first place. And I guess I've been lucky that I've been able to invest an amount of money. And it's only a small amount of money that I can afford to let sit there and go to zero. But that's, you know, that's something that I'm grateful for and lucky for. Game credits, you know, I thought this chart was broken. I thought this has gone below my entry points. This has gone below, you know, prices that, you know, that I called a base, you know, back in the 5 cent reason. But then you zoom out and you go, well, touch points on this massive arc, 1, 2, 3, 4, and another one there. So once again, if it breaks down again, yeah, okay, you could probably say this thing's broken. But you're looking at volume, big reversal volume coming in. The whole market seems to be reversing. The DXY seems to be bearish engulfing candle on the weekly. So the last 2 weeks have been taken out by one candle this week. So that's a positive sign. You know, it's positive when the DXY takes a fall for crypto. So they're all things that I've always been looking at. And if you look back through all my videos, these are things I was waiting for. It's just that they've taken so bloody long to happen. You know, in my mind, the DXY should have reversed here at 100, but it didn't. And so here we are. Game credits, yeah, VeChain. One that I'm definitely baffled by is ICP, and I think that there's definitely some funny business going on here. And you know, and if I remember watching a video about, you know, people did buy this coin for $1, you know, in initial sales. So that's why it could get so low. You know, I thought it definitely would have turned around well before here, you know, well in the 20s, and kind of made a retracement and a correction. But do you know what they say? The harder they fall, the harder they bounce, you know. So once again, if you're a speculative investor, something like ICP, that could be the best entry point you'll ever get. As a retail investor in ICP, you know, obviously people that were pre-ICO or pre-listing investors are still up, you know, 8 times on the money if they bought it at 1. But that's the thing, like we sometimes don't know all this information when things jump onto exchanges. So there's always funny business, and that happens in the stock market as well, you know. So I've learnt lessons from this one. You know, initially I was like, don't buy until it comes down. Thought it came down enough to kind of bounce back. It didn't, and it kept going down. So that's what happens. You know, and that's why sometimes trading and trying to catch that falling knife is a bad idea, and I've definitely learnt a lot from there. My opinions on the precious metals complex is the same as it's always been, but geez, this thing's taken a long time to play out. So silver in particular, the more I read about silver, the more I learn about silver, is that fundamentally it is destined for a big move based on historical evidence, situation, patterns. But when that will happen, who knows? But, you know, once again, if you look at just the chart, that 200-day moving average, back tested it. If you look historically, when silver's done well, you know, so this last bull run, when it went from, you know, $5 up to $50, it broke out of the 200-day moving average when everything was kind of going sideways, broke out of the 200-day moving average, kind of came back towards it again and just kept on going, kind of back tested through it and went back up again. And as long as it was above a 200-week moving average, while that was rising, and, you know, even though there's a small kind of scary patch here, maybe a re-entry, and it kept going up, it was in a bull market, it kept going. when it broke down below that 200-week moving average, and all the other averages were going down, the 50, the 30-week and the 50-week, then it was in a bear market. So it's been there. And what happened in March? It kind of broke out from there again. So that was an entry point. It was a great entry point back in March. Through this last 2 years, has been a horrible place to enter. It's been very sideways, very speculative, very, the fundamentals must make it go up. But the reality is now it's back tested that 200-week moving average. And we're seeing a green day today, and hopefully that's a reversal signal, and we're going to get up above the 28s and out of there. So, is it kind of a cup, handle, and then breakout? Who knows? But once again, that's my thoughts, that's my opinions. Nothing crazy is going wrong. These charts are just doing things that they've done in the past. You got to remember the chart is the psychological representation of all participants of the market. It's not the big banks. It's not just the big whales. It's everyone combined. It's the combined total of all the participants, and whether they're selling, buying, or speculating, trading in and out. So that's the story there. I'm going to leave it there, and just kind of, just touch on, one thing that I learnt quite early on was diversification. I think if I had been all in crypto, I would have got washed out. But the fact is that every time crypto went down, I had, a mining stock that might have done well, or I had, the gas play recently that, I thought, okay, I've heard some things about gas. I'm going to play that as, a hedge, with the turbulent times coming up. And that's kept me in the market and not panicking and not selling everything and not kind of trying to chase things, because I've had some kind of diversification, knowing that I have a property in Australia, albeit a quite cheap one, and it's not really that much in profit, but it kind of went into profit there, in the last year or so. That it's another thing that's in the portfolio. That being all in one asset, especially crypto, which is so volatile, and we've seen pins be pulled that cause large events, like with Luna, like with SEC, like with if there's a big speculative event that happens, money can be flushed out very quickly and leave us holding the bag. So the thing is, holding the bag is only possible if you're confident and you have some kind of diversification, you have some kind of plan that, yes, if a portion of my portfolio gets wiped out, even if crypto was only 30% of your portfolio, you can still say that if it all gets wiped out, I've still got 70% of a portfolio. But if you have 100% all in on crypto or precious metals or anything, in one little kind of hole, yes, you can win really good on the upside, but you can also lose totally on the downside. And that's one thing that I've been happy with, that I had some level of diversification. So everything wasn't always going down together. There's definitely times and periods where nothing's going up, and generally things are going down, and that's recently, especially the last few weeks. But just knowing that in those other times that, they've had something that's kind of pushed into the positive and kept that whole portfolio sitting, in a decent position, not in a complete, OMG, I've lost everything. So that's my thoughts on the market right now. Like I've said, I don't have a lot of time now since we're open up again, since we're doing things, since I'm been able to, live life more, surf, work, relationships, going out, experiencing life. I think I had way more time back then to do charts and do videos when we were forced to be in. So I will try and touch in and touch base every now and again. And especially when, if we do reverse and break out and go into these highs that I hope for, just to kind of keep in touch with sell targets and when I sell and take profits. Just to be that other voice that you can listen to. I know I've always been that person that's not like a long-term expert. I've never said I've been in the market forever, but it's an opinion, and you can definitely guarantee I'm not biased by any promotion or any advertising. We're pretty small over here at Crypto Plan. We're just an opinion. We're just an opinion amongst all the other opinions, and sometimes those opinions are very noisy. I've been Jared, this has been Crypto Plan, and I do hope you all are well and that you're holding, riding strong had some dry powder on the side to buy the dip if that's what you choose. But yeah, either way, the main thing is that you learn. You learn from everything you do. I've said I'm in training, and what I've done over the last couple of years is learn. Take every experience as a learning opportunity. Don't call it a mistake. Don't trash yourself. Just go, can I not do that again? Can I learn from that? All right. Bye for now.